Warning, this video contains spoilers for the Broken Shore scenario, as well as for the questline added into WoW on the 16th of August. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Rambeard, and a new questline has been added to WoW today. It's pretty good, and I'm here to tell you all about it and point out everything you may have missed. Let's begin, shall we? Upon logging in, you will gain the quest called Calling of the Council. Khadgar asks for our aid as he wants to propose something to the Council of Six. He tells us that Dalaran has moved and is no longer above the Crystal Song Forest. It's not yet at the Broken Isles yet either though. It's floating above the Deadwind Pass. We make our way for the portal, and upon arriving you can see not everything has gone perfectly well with the transportation. I recently made a video on minor characters in Dalaran, so it was cool to see them all running about now. A lot of stores are in ruin, but that is to be expected. Here we see Geppetto Joybuzz, owner of the Wonder Workshop, dangling from a zeppelin in utter chaos. The poor lad. We can also see a gnome stuck inside a wall, and another gnome trying to get him out, so that was quite something. And later on I actually found his legs as well. They were stuck in a wall inside the aquarium in the menagerie. The Dalaran Bank has had some trouble too, as lots of gold spilled from the vaults. You can see plenty Dalaran citizens trying to get their hands on some of the shiny, and some archmages protecting the bankers and whatnot. We can see books flying around in the inscription store. At least there is some nice new stuff as well, like this coffee machine in one of the Dalaran inns. That's pretty good. Now, for some serious lore. Do keep your eye on the dialogue in-game. I'll try to stay quiet during the important dialogue. We meet up with Khadgar, who wants the Horde to be allowed in Dalaran once again, as they are needed to defeat the Legion on the Broken Isles, which is fair enough. They were no longer allowed in the city since the Divine Bell incident, where the leader of the Sunreavers, Arthas Sunreaver, helped the Horde instead of staying neutral, as a member of the Kirintor should be. There was a lot of discussion on this, however, as Arthas was trying to be friendly towards his Blood Elven friends, as well as trying to stay neutral for the Kirintor, and he immediately regretted helping the Horde and whatnot, so Arthas wasn't all bad. That's what it comes down to. For now, we approach the Council of Six. Archmages Madera, Karlane, and Siren Runereaver, Jaina, Vargoth, and Khadgar himself. Vargoth is momentarily Arthas' replacement, but I don't think he necessarily wants to be in the council. Remember how much of a lazy life he had in Dalaran, as I talked about in my video on him that I made a while back. Just see what Khadgar has to say. Here, we see Jaina retaliate immediately. It's kind of odd that Jaina is so firmly against the Horde joining. In the War Crimes novel, she became a lot more at peace with what had happened to Theramore. She has only truly been anti-Horde again since the Horde seemingly abandoned the Alliance in the Broken Shore scenario, which we and Khadgar know is only a half-truth, of course. Oh well, Khadgar proposes his proposal, and here we see the votes. Madera voted aye, of course, as she is a good friend to Arthas, and has been plotting together with the Sunreaver to get his faction back into Dalaran. As Vargoth has no great desire to be part of the Six, and allowing the Horde back in could provide him with the possibility of giving up his spot for Arthas again, he votes aye as well. Karlane is just a nuanced individual with no reason to hate the Horde, as he has not had any trouble with them in his life, and thus he votes aye as well. And Siren Runeweaver, author of the Schools of Arcane Magic, has his doubts about the Horde. It's not stated, but I'm pretty sure Jaina's hatred towards the Horde influenced him. The reason I think so is that he was active when Jaina pleaded for attacks on Orgrimmar after Theramore was bombed, and he was not necessarily against that. I think this got him to vote nay. Jaina obviously votes nay, and after the final decision turns out to be aye, she leaves the Council of Six completely to be replaced by her lover, Kalag. Then, out of nowhere, Bran Bronzebeard walks in, talking about the namesake of my shaman. Apparently Magni has uncovered something in Ulduar, something big, to beat the Legion. He set out to the Titan City to find answers, as we had learned in the digital comic Fault Lines. With his transformation came his ability to talk with Azeroth, and apparently it's a she. He truly became part of the Earth. Bran is heading for Ulduar to seek him out, and Khadgar and we are invited to join him.
The truth is out there.
Notice how Vargoth is really being Vargoth with his line, Ulduar holds many secrets. We get to the Titan City, and it has been reworked quite a bit. I went into a side corridor and met NPCs that talked about Ulduar as though it was an amusement park. Kind of odd. Right off the bat it goes wrong though. 2 faceless monstrosities spawn, and this is very important to the lore. Quite a while ago there were 2 Reddit posts on this subject talking about Yogg-Saron and Bolvar Dragon. I'll quote parts of them, and links to the full posts are in the description. First of all, realize that a huge part of the Icecrown Citadel is made out of Serenite, the blood of Yogg-Saron. This would allow any corruption to happen at all. We'll take a look at the cinematic that pops up when you kill the Lich King. First off, there are parts when Bolvar is speaking where the music plays that plays in Ulduar, and Ulduar alone as well.
Your own destinies to fulfill. This last act of service is mine.
When fighting Yogg-Saron in Ulduar, he says things that are exactly repeated in the post-Lich King cinematic, like, "No king rules forever." Now then, why was Arthas tormenting the still living Bolvar? Why not just kill him and enslave his corpse and soul like the thousands of others? Because to make a proper Lich King, one must still be alive. When we reach the Throne of Icecrown Citadel, we find Bolvar chained up above the Lich King's throne. However, when the fight is over, Bolvar is sitting on the throne, somehow free of his chains. This could not have been just overlooked. In truth, Bolvar had been broken long before the players arrived to challenge the Lich King. In fact, at that point, the Bolvar we knew was long gone. He was never truly chained. Bolvar was waiting for you to complete what the old god had arranged, the death of the old Lich King. Bolvar then offers to take the Lich King's place because, as the spirit of Arthas' father tells you, which is not actually a spirit, there must always be a Lich King, the same spirit who tells Arthas that no king rules forever. In truth, the fact that he shares a quote from the mouth of Yogg-Saron himself should tell you that there doesn't always need to be a Lich King, and that the person speaking is none other than Yogg himself. The pieces are in place. The replacement Lich King is in position to take the throne, and so Tyrion completes the task and crowns Yogg's new puppet. This is why Bolvar tells Tyrion that he must be forgotten, so that Yogg can plot in peace. These 2 faceless show that Yogg is not dealt with. It shows that he is still busy with whatever he's plotting, and this makes the theory very, very possible. Logical even. Oh well, we might learn more on this later on in Legion. And if you don't believe me yet, just look at the chat. Yogg-Saron is literally speaking to us right here and right now. But let's move on. We continue on our way to Magni, but some Legion forces have infiltrated Ulduar. We deal with them easily enough, and there the old King of Ironforge stands. It is great to see him again, and he has quite the information to share. He has been talking to Azeroth, and learned something we can now finally confirm. Just watch this. Azeroth is a young female titan. This has been speculated for so long, and now there is finally a true in-game confirmation. It makes so much sense now, why the Burning Legion is so incredibly interested in our planet, and why they don't just blow it up. To further speculations, Sargeras will most likely want to corrupt this baby titan rather than just kill her. That would completely explain everything the Burning Legion has thrown at us so far, as, in theory, they would be able to make a bomb big enough to blow up a planet. And they've not done that yet. Furthermore, Magni leads us to the planetarium. Here, together with the image, or the echo, of Elgalon, he tells us about the Pillars of Creation, how the Keepers used them to forge Azeroth, and how they got into hands of mortals, and how we need them now to seal the gateway the Burning Legion has opened on the Broken Isles. This lays the foundation for the oncoming expansion. Khadgar remembers reading about the Pillars of Creation, and this is very possible, as the Keepers gave some of the information on the Pillars of Creation to the first Guardian, Eladai. The books that contain this information now lie within Karazhan, so Khadgar probably read some of those books sometime. Khadgar wants us to come with him to Karazhan to find information on the Pillars, and so we leave. We take the portal to Karazhan and we get a quest to go into the old castle. Obviously, we do not just enter, as there's plenty to explore. I wanted to see if the crypts were open in this phased form of the Deadwind Pass, and although they were not fully open, you can go slightly beyond the gate that usually blocks you. Further exploration led me to a place that I've never seen or heard of before. It might appear in some of the Mage Artifact questlines, but I'm holding off on those until Legion launches. I'm talking about the Karazhan Catacombs. There's a staircase going down under Karazhan, behind the building, and you can find many rooms. These rooms contain all sorts of artifacts that we've encountered over the years. Take here for instance, we see artifacts from the Thunder King, from Ulduar. There's even some artifacts there from Ethereals, from Outland. Here we see a room with all sorts of weapons, a book and an armor set. There was one more room, I believe, or two more even. Here we see crystals that we saw in Anchorage, some crystals there that we saw when fighting necromancers in Northrend. And then in this final room, there's just a weird portal that I didn't really recognize at all. It's very odd indeed. The armor set we see reminds me of what Archmage Vargoth was wearing during the council, but I reckon this is Khadgar's own hideout, where he stores relics we encounter. We will probably find out all about it in Legion though, so be on the lookout for it. Then to enter Karazhan. Inside the castle is nothing super interesting actually, although we do actually see an image of Morose and Medivh for a while, so that's cool I guess. We just go to the library, and although we are hindered by rogue sentries and some demons that are pursuing us, we have an easy enough time, and Khadgar locates the book with information on the Pillars of Creation easy enough as well. After we've taken it, we return to Archmage Modera in Dalaran and hand it over to her. There, in Dalaran, an invasion of demons is going on, as the threat of the Burning Legion grows ever stronger. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be on the lookout for more quests that might be released next week. I can't wait to continue this storyline, as I think this form of storytelling Blizzard uses at the moment is exactly right. Goodbye.